evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aussie Formula Racing Season 6, Round 11 from Circuit Gilles, Villeneuve in Canada. We're here for our Tier 1 race first of all. We'll have Tier 2 a little bit later on. We're just loading into the qualifying session now, but we'll do a bit of a run through the very famous and very popular track here in the F1 calendar. We're halfway through the season already and just 1 point separating our leaders at the top between Mikau and Fiba. Montreal here is a 4.3 kilometre circuit with 14 turns, 3 sectors, 2 DRS straights, 3 DRS straights in fact. And of our 14 corners, we tend to get a lot of action. Turn 1 last season, we had Fiba and Potsy on the run into turn 1. Potsy getting a little bit hot on the brakes, spinning off the back of the Ferrari. No further action deemed necessary by the stewards on that occasion. Back in Season 4, we had turns 1 to 7, a great battle between Flyboy, Bandcamp, Shrimp and Greenie. You see there the McLaren weaving in and out from behind the racing point of Flyboy. It's very much single file through here, but like the racing point's done just there, he's just grazed the DHL wall and that gives the Renault a good run around the outside. He says if you try to follow through as well. And then the passing opportunity as well to the bridge on this back straight. If you can get a decent exit compared to those around you, good chance for overtaking. We also had turns 3 to 9 in Season 4. Mikau, Bandcamp, Shrimp, Greenie and Flyboy. Mikau having a bit of wing damage there, holding up quite a big train. There's always an opportunity when people get checked up going into the corners to be a bit opportunistic, like Bandcamp was here, just getting past the heart of Mikau there. Shrimp being very opportunistic, forcing his way through, and the Ferrari of Greenie as well. Going down the inside into the chicane here, past the bridge. And Flyboy sweeping around the outside as well. Trying to get past the Haas. So a few good opportunities here at this circuit. We have turn 6 here as well. This is how Mikau picked up that, it's actually last year. He's not have very good luck here, Mikau. Unfortunately they're getting spun around by Combined in the racing point, and then his teammate for the race, Smitty, hitting him, breaking both of their wings. So bad day there for Mercedes. And yeah, back in Season 4, Mikau trying to get past Wahid at that chicane just after the bridge and getting turned around. Hopefully he'll be able to turn his fortunes around here tonight. And of course, Wall of Champions turn 14, Season 4, Mikau versus Seb. Mikau not having a great exit, and Seb running into the back of him, sending him into the pit wall. And that's where he picked up that damage on his front wing. Okay, drivers are heading out onto the track now. We've got a few starting their flying laps. We're going to jump on board with Apollo Pepsi, who's a usual first driver out there. And I'm joined this evening in the commentary box by Bandcamp. How are you?
Not too bad in yourself. Hello and welcome everyone. That's good. So I've got a bit of a weather update. Apparently we are in for a dry quali and dry race.
Alright, thank you very much for that. We tend to get a good amount of action whether it's wet or dry here, so hopefully we're in for another good one. Thank you very much for the follows from, we've got a few so far already. Thank you David Stevens for the follow, and AFR Bandcamp subscribing for 13 months in a row.
Oh, wow. Well done. Thank you very much.
You just thank yourself for subscribing. Apollo Pepsi has set a 108.541 on his first line lap. We're going to jump a bit further down. Wahid is invalidated. We're going to jump aboard with Potsy, who's just started his first flying lap. He's there in the Alfa Romeo filling in this evening. We've got a few more coming across the line at Tannis for 108.7, Flyboy 109.2. Interestingly, we've got a few on mediums, including Fiba, who's just set provisional pole time of 108.3. So, I'm not 100% sure on the preferred strategy here, whether it's going to be a soft, medium, medium, or soft to hard. Certainly, we saw Fiba retire early in qualifying last week and still managed to get pole position, so maybe he's going to do that, set it on pole in the medium tyre early on and start the race with that. But
18.3 on the mediums, wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
That is proper quick right there.
Well, we can probably reasonably assume that it will be in the low 107s with the soft tyre then, with people putting in a time like that. Just to see what Mikau does. He's currently still in the pits, has the soft tyre selected at the moment, but he may just be waiting for the track to rubber up a bit. Might switch to the mediums, So we've got Potsy set at 108.563, so just 200ths of a second slower than probably Pepsi, but McLaren currently looking out the front row, which is what I'm sure they would wish would be the case at Portimao tonight, but unfortunately not the case for Rick.
Not sure if you've already mentioned a couple of reserve drivers filling in tonight. Seb and Matt Dabry making a return for the reserve drivers at the moment. And we've also got Potsy making a return to the grid, taking up the Alfa Romeo seat.
Yeah, good to see them back again, and great to have another full grid in Tier 1. Really good to see that level of attendance and competition. As Matt Dabry sets it on provisional pole with the 108.3 as well. Just 200s quicker than Fever, but he did set that time in the medium, so watch this space. And jump down to, I think, Seb's in P12 at the moment on the flying lap in the racing point. Purple in the first sector. It's just on the back straight now. Heading under the bridge to the chicane.
I wouldn't be surprised if Fever leaves it right till the end to come out on the soft tyre. As long as he's in probably the top 7 on those mediums, I think he'll be happy. If he's any lower than that, then I think he'll probably want to improve with the soft tyre run. Yeah,
absolutely. It's and it's such a quick lap as well that we're going to see. I wouldn't be surprised if we'd see a second covering the majority of the grid. And I think it's going to be that close this evening. He may feel a little bit uncomfortable towards the back end of the session on those mediums with that time. We see Wahi doing a few laps on the mediums, and we've got Seb's just set at 108.3 as well, so maybe Fever's time is a bit more competitive than we thought. Yeah, I reckon it's a bit hard to tell. Obviously everyone's setting bankers at the moment, but the fact that he set that on a medium and is as good as everyone around him on softs, that's very impressive. It's Big Al's provisional pole with the 108.2 to jump down as Mikau is on a flying lap just behind Seb. I wonder if there's going to be a bit of a tow happening. Looks like Seb's still keeping a pretty steady pace on his in-lap, so maybe not. I reckon look how tight this field is. A couple of tenths at a tow will make the difference. You can decide which row of the grid you're starting on. Look out very tidy through the chicane on the back straight. Oh, Seb's very slow on the hairpin. I think he might be trying to orchestrate it, maybe. Too far ahead.
No.
Might pick up a bit of tow from the Ferrari anyway. Close.
From the pink Mercedes.
Now coming into the final chicane. Oh, right up against the wall of champions. Perfect exit. And he comes across the line. P4 just in front of his teammate. Just less than 200ths in it with the 108.3 as well. Look at that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers with the 108.3. Shows how tight this field is. Going to jump down to the Mercedes of Panda. He's currently getting a decent tow from his teammate on the back straight. To the final chicane. Didn't quite attack it as much as we just saw Mikau attack it. But he does come across the line in P11 with 108.7. So he's a couple of tenths quicker than his teammate, but still about half a second off the pace from the leaders. Jump down to Jacob Meister and the Renault is actually invalidated, so we're going to have a look at Geordie and the Williams, who's had a very good run of races this season. And he goes P6 as well with 108.5, so a couple of tenths off the pace, but for a banker that's pretty solid as he goes into P6 in that top 10. Let's have a look and see. Flyboy is not on a lap at the moment. Check if Jacob Meister is going again, so being such a short track, you can chuck just a little bit more fuel in than normal, and you'll be able to go around a second time. If you do invalidate, the track limits are incredibly restrictive here. Quite a few corners where you just push it a little bit too far and you'll invalidate. And everyone watching the race as well, a few people will be picking up warnings pretty easily. You could see penalties decide a few of the positions, particularly if we have any safety cars. We do see Jacob Meister there just taking too much curb on the inside of the chicane. And he's invalidated as well. We're going to jump down to Matsoid, who's in the Alpha Tauri, currently going through Sector 1. Oh, nearly grazes that DHL sign there on the right-hand side. Of course, there's a few corners here where track limits are determined by a concrete wall, and if you hit that, it's game over. So it's a good old-fashioned circuit here at Monaco. It's still a street circuit, but it's far more flowing than I think a lot of the street circuits that we get in Formula 1. It's still got that old school feel with lots of grass and not so much concrete runoff. As Tannis has set provisional pole with a 108.266, so he's gone less than a hundredth of a second between him and Big Al at the top there. So very impressive stuff. Have to keep an eye on Bieber, who's come out again on the medium tyre. So obviously he's pretty keen to set that time. A little bit of a loose exit there for Matsui from the Wall of Champions, and that'll hurt him a little bit. Comes in P13 with 108.654. Just half a tenth from his teammate. So at the moment, 1 second separates P1 and P17. Finish up on board with Bieber, who's halfway around the track at the moment on those mediums. See what his split is when he comes up to the end of the second sector. Yeah, he's currently a 10th up, so that'll put him onto provisional pole again. It goes purple in the second sector, a bit of a lock up into the hairpin though, but he will get a little bit of tow from the racing point in front of him here. So DRS wide open, and he'll be getting a little bit of a gain here. And he's just got to make a tidy chicane. Oh, I think that's an Alfa Romeo. Oh, he hits the Wall of Champions. I didn't see any wing come off. Didn't invalidate. He goes faster. He's 108.112. Gained a 10th there, even though he, in real life, he probably would have broken the suspension. But no, that's a great time on the medium tyre there.
And that's on the same set of mediums.
Exactly. You only get one set of mediums when you're qualifying, so that's insane. I don't think you want to put another run though that will take a bit too much wear out of them for the race. Interesting.
And he's also in a good point to tow his teammate around here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Follow Pepsi.
See that on
but
the
I'm
map
not sure. I'm not sure if he's on. No, he's not on a lap, unfortunately.
Interestingly, Mikau not really interested in doing the medium run. He's still on the softs. I mean, unless he's sandbagging, he's running the fast lap setting on his ERS. He's a couple of tenths off the pace. I would have thought Mikau would be a little bit further up, but I think he was talking up Fever's chances though in the lead up to this race. Seb goes provisional pole with a 108.050 on the soft tyre. Great time there from Seb.
Yeah, this circuit is a bit of a unique one, and it tends to suit some drivers and not others, and it doesn't really care if you're quick or not. You know, it just suits you or it doesn't, I've found.
Yeah, Mikau there coming across line for 108.185. Big Al, the first one in the 107s. 107.978. Fun fact, that is Ali's brother there on provisional pole. That's a great lap there from the Red Bull driver. We're going to have a little bit of a look further down. I think we've got Pondon at the back there. He's actually invalidated. He's yet to set a time, and neither is Jacob Mercer. So they really need to get their act together. They don't have much time left in the session, just 5.5 minutes to go. As Pondon comes into the pits. Let's see, I don't think there's really anyone else at the moment setting a fast time. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, Big Al's not on one, Seb's not on one, Mikau's not on one, Potsy is not on one, Trin is not on one, Wahid not on one, T-Mac not on one. Everyone else is in the pits. We do have Matsuo Dabri on an outlap, so let's jump on board with the Ferrari reserve driver and see what he can do with the Red Rocket. Hey Ali, welcome to the chat. Good to see your brother on provisional pole at the moment. Yeah, to your point about it being a circuit that suits some more than others, like even in my last season where I particularly struggled on F1 2020, Canada, I would still be able to qualify in the top 6. The race unfortunately didn't go my way, but yeah, it is one of those circuits where it doesn't really matter what game it is, some people just really click with it, whereas on others, yeah, they might really struggle. So I think as well, it being such a short, fast track, it's there's not as many corners where you can make mistakes, a bit like Monza in that sense, but yeah, to really ring out a lap and get a really quick time takes a lot of practice and a lot of grinding on time trial. Mercedes comes out of the pits at an awkward time for the Ferrari. He does manage to get through without too much drama. Comes up to turn 3, clips the inside apex, turn 4, runs very wide the exit of turn 4, grazes that DHL sign, goes around turn 5 into turn 6 there. Takes a good amount of curb, really hooks it up there. Ferrari looking a bit planted, a little bit loose in the mid corner there at turn 7 though, as he runs into the back straight.
A 10th down in sector 1.
Comes under the Rolex bridge to the chicane of 9 and 10. Pretty tidy. It's looking a little bit loose. I wonder if he's taken off some rear downforce just to get a little bit extra speed on the straights. Comes up to the hairpin there. Purple in the second sector apparently, and he's now 500s up on his previous time. Runs a bit deep into the chicane though. He nearly hits the Rolex signage on the outside of the hairpin. That will hurt his time a little bit. You really want to get on the throttle as early as possible coming out of that. Comes down to the final chicane, breaks about the 75-minute mark, takes a lot of curb on the inside. Oh, and whacks the wall of hairpins and invalidates. That was a heavy hit.
And there's some wing damage there as well.
Yeah, not surprised at all. That was a hard with going to jump off with Sid now, the other Red Bull driver who's actually invalidated, so I'm going to jump down to Geordie, who's in the Williams. Just about to come through the end of sector 1, and he's already backed out, so I think he might have made a little mistake there or something. It's an interesting one. And we've got Panda from Mercedes currently at the turn 2. And we'll see how he goes the rest of this lap. A little bit of traffic behind him though. Oh, he's invalidated, he's lost it, and he's broken his front wing. Oh, came through turn 3 and 4, a little bit too hot, and he lost the rear. Let's have a quick look at that again. So you see there, he came through turn 2, was all looking pretty good. Came up to the top of the hill, turned it to turn 3, took a lot of curb on the inside, was fine, but too much on that left-hand side, and just the rear stepped out and smashed his front wing into the wall. So going to jump with Matzoid now. Oh, he's just come on board as he's had a spin. Just before that, looks like on the run between turns 2 and 3, and he's parked it up in a really bad spot. Oh, he's had to reverse onto the racing line to get it out of the wall. That was a really, really awkward spin. And oh, he's and I think he may have got in the way of Pondon there, or was that Artanis on an outlap? No, that was Pondon on a hot lap. Pondon, who's yet to set a time, just had oh, he's backed out as well. That's unfortunate.
I think Red Panda's retired on track, and also Jacob has invalidated his final run. I don't think he's going to have enough fuel. He's already invalidated his first run. He's invalidated his second run.
Just interesting.
I don't know what's going to go on here. And Pondon also yet to set a time. So
Feber has aborted his current lap and is on the soft tyre. So I think he's getting ready. I think he is actually giving... oh no, he's not giving Pepsi a tow because he's on an at lap as well. I don't know what they're doing, but... Feber looks like he's warming up the soft, so he's going to go for a run on the soft tyre. Stay on board for this lap. See what he can do. Currently sitting on a 108.1 on the medium tyre, so he only needs a couple of tenths to put on provisional pole. And he's got the soft down as well. He's got the...
Pondon finally sets a time of 13.7.
Yeah, I think he's definitely impeded there by Matzoid's little off at turn 3. We've got Mikau and Seb 2 and 3 with 108.0s, only 11 thousandths of a second separating the Racing Point drivers, so great work by those two. So ball for Feber. It's about to come to the end of sector 2. We had to have 2 bites in the chicane after the bridge. Comes across 4 tenths up. He will be 107.7 at this rate, and he's still got the final straight to go. Like a very, very tidy lap. The McLaren driver absolutely smashing the field at the moment. We're seeing a few drivers retire as they've run out of time to set any more laps. Comes into the final chicane. Oh, he missed the apex slightly on the entry to the chicane, but it looks all right. And yet, 107.7. Great lap there from Feber. That will be good enough a pole. I don't think, Mikau's backed out. He's got no ERS deployment. Jump back to Artanis, who's invalidated. Jump a little bit further back. We've got T-Mac with Mercedes about to come across the line. And he goes 108.475, good enough for 12. And if we look at that, we've got 1 second between P1 and P16. Just a couple of tenths separate 17th, 18th, and 19th. Unfortunately, Jacob Meister unable to set a time. So we're just going to wait for Mikau to retire from the session, and we'll be loading into our race. So great lap there from FIBA. Well done to Big Al as well, the only other driver in the 107s. And great work to the Racing Points, locking out the second row of the grid. And Potsy and Trin setting almost identical times there for 5 and 6. And I think we had Sid there in P7. There we go. Sid there in P7 with a 108.2. We also had Tannis and Pacey setting a 108.2. Matsia Dabry and Apollo Pepsi 10th and 11th with the 108.3. T-Mac there, P12. Geordie and Wahid with 108.5 in 13th and 14th. Matt Soyd, 108.6 for 15th. Panda, 108.7 in 16th. Ponton and Flyboy setting 108.8s. Only 5 thousandths of a second between those two for 17th and 18th. And then combined a little bit off the pace with the 109.0. And Jacob unable to set a time. So I think he made a few mistakes to invalidate. I'm not sure. I think you mentioned that he made a bit of a mistake on his final run as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why even setting a bad time for your banker lap, as long as it's something on the board, it's just something you can chip away at over the session. So unfortunate for him, but free choice of tyre. He's got nothing to lose for the race, so hopefully we see him come through the field.
Interesting call there from FIBA. He could have started from 4th on the medium tyre.
Yeah, and he would have been the only one in the top 10 to be able to do so. So everyone else is on the soft tyre. So it would have given him a very optimal strategy, I think, for the race. But it'd be interesting to see what everyone outside the top 10 do, because it's perfectly valid to start on the softs as well. It's not like your Spain tracks or anything like that where you don't really want to touch the softs because they don't last very long. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether people commit to the 2-stop or they want to try and get a 1-stop done. But I think probably a bit too much tyre wear to make a 1-stop work in your favour. It takes a little bit too long, I think. We'll just wait for the drivers to confirm their strategies.
And there's also a high chance of a safety car, especially at the start of the race around this track, with the walls being so close.
Yeah, it's one of the circuits that has a very high probability of safety car just because it's such a narrow track. Can be a little bit tricky to overtake, but we saw, particularly in the Tier 2 race last season, we had a number of incidents there at the final chicane of the Wall of Champions. There's been a steward's announcement to ensure that anyone pitting must stay left, so we don't have any repeats of people cutting across and braking directly in front of people who aren't expecting people to come into the pits. So hopefully we don't see any dramas like that. So let's have a look at the tyre choices. Obviously all the top 10 are on the softs. We do have Pepsi, T-Mac, Geordie, Panda, Pondon and Jacob Meister on the medium tyre. We've got Wahid, Matsoid and combined on the soft. And we have Panda, we have Flyboy, the only driver on the hard tyre. So interesting there. Bit of a difference in strategy there. We do have, the two McLarens are splitting strategies. Mercedes doing the same though. Williams is splitting. Alpha Tauri is going the same. I think Haas are going different strategies as well. So some of the teammates are coordinating a little bit with what strategies they're going to do. Because obviously they'll have to pit around the same time if they're on the same tyre from the start of the race. So if there's a safety car, it's not ideal for whoever's behind on track.
So it looks like FIBA has learned his lesson and he is not stretching out the grid as much. Trying to keep it nice and compact to maintain his tyre temps. Also, the AWS Insights predicting a 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some people do soft medium, particularly if there is a safety car. But yeah, it just does depend. Some people are kinder to their tyres and might be able to stretch it out and just do a 1-stop, but a bit of a risky move, that one. Drivers coming up to the final chicane now, as we've got Flyboy and combined having a little bit of collision there and getting reset to the grid. They should have a bit of temperature in their tyres, though. They're pretty close to the end. Drivers forming up on the grids. There we go, got the AWS insights there. So 2 soft strategy, soft, medium. So expect the softs to pit around about lap 10. So the lights are coming on, the engines are revving. And we're away. Pretty decent start from the front. Fever moving across the cup of the Red Bull. We've got the Racing Point trying to go down the inside. Quite able to get it done. Jump to a better camera angle. There we go. This is the traditional jumping around of the leaderboard. That looks like at the front of the field, not too bad at all. So apparently we've got some issues with the stream. Apparently, 26% over the last 2 minutes. Wonderful, thank you, Streamlabs. Okay, so far, so we got a little bit of movement at the back. And Matt Soyd jostling for position down there from 14th to 15th. Just wait for the intervals to sort themselves out. So there's the first couple of laps, it's a bit haywire.
So clean lap 1, no one coming into the pits for a new front wing.
Everyone very well behaved on that opening lap, so it's usually we see at least one person guys in chat, just let me know if it's still laggy. Just getting mixed messages from people, so I just need to know if I need to restart. Everyone on track within a couple of tenths of each other. This is so incredibly tight as we come to the hairpin. This is pretty good. Just a little bit further up. While the Pepsi had a decent run on the Pacey there out of the hairpin. Let's see if we can make a move going into the final chicane. They're able to cover off into turn 1, but Pepsi trying to get the move done. Still side by side going through turn 3 and 4, but Pepsi's got the move done. And now it looks like Pacey and Geordie going side by side. Geordie gets the move done again into turn 4. Into the chicane under the bridge, but backs out. So Matt Sawyer, T-Mac jostling for position. Looks like the Mercedes driver's just been able to get past. Side by side. Down towards the pit entry. Just a bit behind as well. We've got Panda and Wahid. Oh, it's a contact, and they're both gone. They're both gone in the background. Panda's out. Panda's out. Wahid's in the pits. We've got a virtual safety car as well. And we just caught that in the background behind the battle we were following. So we were side by side with T-Mac and Matt Sawyer. You could just see in the background there we had Panda and Wahid in a bit of a slipstream. Oh, yeah, I can see the lag there, guys. I'll fix that. So we've got Matt Sawyer and Wahid. It looked like there's a little bit of contact between the Mercedes and the Williams, and